I think if they wanted to, they could probably help themselves get off it or go to some place that helps deal with people like that. But it's rife here, it's rife, honestly. No, something needs to be done about this place.
Not long after my daughter was born, I had baby blues and postnatal depression, and I started using like opioids to get myself on the go, so everything was perfect. My daughter was perfect, I was perfect, thinking I was all right and in control. One day I couldn't get the opiates I needed, and someone offered me heroin, and I had taken it, I shared it with her, and then it became a sort of weekend thing. And before I knew it, I had a grip of me. I really felt like I lived in a multi-storey block at the time, just jumping out the window if it wasn't for my daughter. Because I knew it wasn't me, it wasn't my life. It's like every second person, you know, you could guarantee that they have some sort of addiction.
£600 yesterday on crack cocaine I spent and sat and smoked it for a pipe.
Funny money.
Every person in my phone is crack dealers. This is a joke. I want to throw it away, get rid of it, but in a way I don't, because it's the only thing I know. I've been on my own feet since I was 13. Don't know any better. The doctor put me on valium at 13, 10 milligram valium.
It's not a choice that anybody makes. Nobody grows up to be, when they're at school, they don't decide to be, I'm going to be an addict. Instead of be a fireman or police or join the army, I'm going to be an addict. It's not a choice. Psychologically and the mental and the sexual abuse when I was younger. That's what's led me to drugs. I've done about 23 years in prison, which is horrendous. You know what I mean? I'm not a bad person. Life's made me a bad person. People have made me a bad person.
Over the last decade, the number of drug deaths has increased across the whole of Scotland exponentially. You know, we're over 1,000 people have lost their lives to drugs, and that's a shocking, shameful statistics for a modern Western society like our own. Over the last 2 years, the city set out a very clear direction of travel to try and tackle this issue. And the way in which we're doing that, first and foremost, was to engage with an independent commission to look across the whole city at every aspect of service, whether that be in the public sector or the third sector. We're now at the stage where we're implementing that action plan. We're bringing about real change, and we're trying to reduce drug deaths but also improve services for people who are currently accessing them to try and get them off of drugs and, you know, to enhance their lives.
Services only know treatment, they don't know recovery. They can't possibly know recovery because they've never experienced it. And unless they utilise people in the way they should and allow them to have the connection they need with others to help them get better, then they will never get recovery right, and they need to, otherwise people are going to be in treatment and then die, and that's what's been happening in Dundee. Medicating became the way forward, and it has been like that for almost 40 years. In the last 3 years, it's not changed very much in communities like mine. People are still dying at an alarming rate. I think with the Commission being involved and people having to find solutions, things are gradually getting better, but not quick enough, not quick enough. The last Thursday of every month we have an open mic. It's a safe social space for people to come and make the connections that they need.
Hi everyone, so I've got a couple of poems.
I'm here because Sharon supports me as a parent, and she supports my daughter who's a recovering addict. Because that's the only support that we've found that actually works. My daughter became addicted to heroin at 18. She fell into bad company, and she was very vulnerable, as most 18-year-olds are. Just got worse and worse and worse. To pull somebody out of that is very, very difficult. People kept coming up to the house, They kept, even if she didn't want them in, they were forcing their way in. They were using her house as a drug den, and she couldn't get rid of them. She wasn't strong enough to say to them, get out.
It's a way of life now. It's part of our culture. It is part of our culture.